Hey guys, Seafood Jason with Theta Combat. This is Gentry. We're going to go over a couple of fundamentals today, some footwork, some handwork, and some traditional Sulam Tao forms. Start off, let's go ahead and get warmed up with some hand drills, some foot drills. We're going to start in our closed foot position, chamber our hands, kneel down, open our footwork like this. From here, we're just going to warm up, bring one hand out, and we're going to swap them. Back and forth, punching and opening. It's important to bring the thumb all the way up the top, and then on the punch, bring the thumb all the way down to the side. Perfect. Let's go ahead and go through Sulam Tao. Sulam Tao is the first form in the Wing Chun Kung Fu system. We're going to start again with feet together, bend our knees, toes out, rotate our heels out, and then we're going to squat down and push our hips forward. It's important that in front of us, our toes are pointed in, not so far that it's uncomfortable, but just far enough to where if you drew a line coming out of your toes, we've got a triangle out in front of us. So from here, I'm going to mirror what you're supposed to be doing. You guys should start with your left hand first. I'm going to be doing my right hand, so that way as it comes out, you can follow it. Perfect. Let's go ahead and talk about our stance and some footwork with it. When we open up our stance, we're trying to create a pyramid with the bottom half of our body. Now, in an actual altercation, you're not going to be like, hold on a second, let me toes out, heels out, knees bent, hips forward. But if we do this enough, we start to create muscle memory. That muscle memory will happen when adrenaline hits or you're caught by surprise and all of a sudden you're standing in your stance because you've done it enough. So when we say open your stance, that means every single time you're going to start with your feet together. We're going to chamber up, we're going to bend our knees, our toes are going to go out, we're going to come up on our toes, rotate our heel out, bend our knees, and push our hips forward. This stance is a transitional stance. What that means is that in order for us to be efficient in everything else that we do, this stance has to be solid. That includes when we're stepping around an opponent. So if I'm stepping over to the side, I take a step, and I want to shift back to my opponent and catch them offline, get them crossed off. My hips have to be forward in order to create that movement, okay? We break that down. It's very similar to say like a roundhouse kick. When we talk about the roundhouse kick, We break it down into sections. We'll come forward, the knee comes up, we'll twist, and then there's a snap. When we get good at it, it's all one fluid motion. We come up, it's one good snap all the way across the body. Same thing with our footwork. It's not gonna be very robotic. We're not gonna shift, step, shift back. But in order for us to create fluid movement, it has to be robotic first. That way, everything is muscle memory. It's all solid, one place before we start moving. So first thing we'll do is practice our shifting from this position. Hips forward, I'm in my stance. Oh, let's open it up like I was supposed to. Toes out, heels out, knees bent, hips forward. From here, I'm gonna shift my hips at a 45-degree angle. If you watch my feet, as I shift, my weight's behind me, my hips are still forward, and my feet still create a triangle out in front of me somewhere. I don't want to twist my foot all the way around. I don't want to straighten that leg all the way. This front foot is used for balance. I'd say you have probably 20% weight on that front leg and 80% behind you. Then we'll shift back to the middle and then shift to the other side. 45-degree angle, my hips are still in, pointed forward. I can look down at my feet, make sure that they're pointing at a triangle out in front of me. Shift back to center. Look down at my feet, make sure that my feet are still a good shoulder width apart. If they're too wide, that means you're either twisting on the ball and you're starting to scoot your foot out. If they're too narrow, probably scooting on the toes, bringing your feet in too close. So as we do this, we're gonna do it nice and slow. Shift out. What I want to imagine is that there's a bolt going right through the middle of my foot and keeping my feet pinned to the ground. I don't want to rotate on the ball or the heel of my foot. Right on the center, as if I'm gripping the mat. So as I shift out, shift back to the center, shift the other way. Let's go ahead and do that for 5-10 minutes. Let's do like for 4 or 5. We'll start with our feet together. Toes out, heels out. We'll go ahead and shift. Shift back to center. Shift the other way. Back to center. Let's go ahead and just do this for a few minutes. It's important to make sure that those hips are locked in. I'm not sticking my butt out. I'm not leaning over. Keeping my weight centered behind me. Perfect. All right, let's talk about stepping now with it. There's certain ranges in combat. We have your sparring range or long range distance management that we have to cover, and then close quarter range. Your stepping will change depending on that range. So if I'm out here, I don't necessarily want to be in my close quarter combat range or my Kung Fu stance, if you will, and stepping slowly. I want to make sure that I'm balanced and I'm trying to step away from my opponent and get them crossed. I want to angle off. But the principle remains the same in that when I step, I'm stepping with the foot in the direction that I'm going, meaning I'm not gonna cross myself. I'm not gonna step this way. We keep a nice wide stance, step out. Come here, step out to the other side. I don't wanna bring my feet together. I want to take a nice even step across and then match it with the back leg. When we start getting into close quarter and we open up our stance, we shift. The principle is the same, except now I'm doing smaller movements and the power's coming off of the back leg. So as I step, I'm still stepping with that front leg and dragging the back leg the same distance as what I did with the front. What this allows me to do is transition power and energy and weight without sacrificing my core. So if I just go to step and I'm standing straight up or I'm not necessarily balanced, I take a step and I'm overpowered because I don't have my hips in, I don't have my weight behind me, and I don't have my structure. So the drill that we're going to work on, if you can do this with a partner at home, or even maybe just put like a chair in front of you, is stepping around the object. We'll start off with our long range stance first. So I'm going to be nice and even, feet just a little bit larger than shoulder length apart. I want to keep my weight balanced, but my knees are still going to be bent and my hips are going to be forward. My weight isn't necessarily going to be behind me right now. From here, I'm going to take a step and then step back to the middle. Step to the outside, back to the middle. Outside, back to the middle. This is a great way to create muscle memory for your back foot. If you step, now back foot's too close to the other foot, you're dragging it in too far. Okay, so every now and again, look down, oh, too far. There we go, it's great. Step, step. Okay, then let's go ahead and close that gap and get really close. And then I'm going to open my stance. I'm gonna take a step in my close quarter stance, meaning my weight's behind me. I'm gonna shift, step, back to the middle, shift, step. Again, when we start getting fluid with it, we can start shifting back to our opponent all in one fluid motion here. But for now, let's go ahead and just shift, step, shift, shift, step, shift. If you have a partner, go ahead and switch off, do 10 on each side, and then they can go shift, step, shift. Bingo. Good. So, a couple of rules when we're talking about combat or even stepping in a combative situation. Our knees need to always be bent. If they're straight and locked out, we can't generate any power. We'll just be using our forward weight to try to create power. So anytime that we practice any drills, it's a common habit for people to start to stand up and get lazy. Just make sure you're focusing on that and you go, oh, need to bend the knees a little bit. Hey guys, we're gonna go on the punching portion of our class today. We're gonna work on a chain punch or a piston punch, which comes from the center. There are many, many efficient and effective punches that are out there, but this one we're just gonna work today, which is coming from the center line out. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, like, hey, I'm not gonna throw a punch from the middle of my chest. You're correct. But just like our stance, when we do it enough, we create that muscle memory. We know where our feet are supposed to end up. Same thing with our hands. When we start punching from the center line, we know where we're supposed to end up, which is on that center line. It creates way better at targeting. So first thing we're gonna work on is actually coming from the middle, nice and slow. We'll go ahead and chamber our hands. And again, I'll probably mirror you guys. So I'll be doing my right hand. You guys come out with your left. We're gonna bring our punch in the middle of our chest. Bring it out nice and slow, trying to keep our elbow pointed to the ground. We're not going to extend all the way. We're going to keep it nice and bent right here so we have a little bit of pop if we need it. Then we're going to bring it right back to the middle. Then we're going to switch hands. Way out, back in. Now it's important to be relaxed on this. I don't want to be tense as I'm driving my punch. I want to be nice and relaxed all the way through. Now, the purpose for the chain punch or the piston punch is to create a jackhammer effect, okay? As I'm driving against the pad, I want to be relaxed all the way through. If I'm not relaxed, I'm going to end up straining myself or burning myself out because I'm having to pull my punch back. Instead, I want to deliver the punch all the way out, nice and relaxed. As I strike, this hand is going to drop down just a few inches. This one's going to come out again straight off the center line, right here. So again, the purpose is that I'm creating a lot of power without whip. I'm using the strength of my legs as it drives forward and pushes through. I'm connecting the feet to the hand by keeping my hips forward and driving from the back legs. Okay, so this part should feel just a little bit tight because I'm flexing my hips forward. It's driving forward here. If I'm here, I'll drive off the back leg. And if I'm here, other one. Okay, so this chain punch needs to be one flat line, and then it will drop down underneath, almost like half of a chainsaw. And it's also on one center line. It shouldn't be here. It should be right here. Again, for the drill, you need to come all the way back to your chest, touching your chest each and every time. If you don't have a punching bag at home, it's okay to do this in the air. Nice and relaxed. Then, when we start creating fluidity with it again and wanting to add some strength behind it, principles are still the same in that I want to drive off of the center line and I want to be relaxed and my hits are coming from the legs. So as I drive through, I'm not forcing myself and I'm not swinging my hips and my shoulders, keeping it all on one center line here, nice and relaxed. You can also do this in the air, right here. So go ahead and try that at home. Another good drill to kind of help is just doing 10 on each side. Bring it back, making sure that elbow's pointed down at the ground. Then when you're ready, bring them out, drop it down. As you do this and you start to speed up, it's a common habit for people to start bringing their elbows up. Be conscious of that. Bring the elbows back down. Nice, soft, and relaxed. Now, everyone knows the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Same deal with our punches. This punch is designed for us to be able to step and deliver a lot of strength in a short amount of distance. I'm not having to wind up and bring my hand back to deliver a punch. The same principles can be applied if you are using the overhand right or a hook. When we come around, we want to strengthen off the back leg, bring our hips forward, and drive it. But again, today, we're just using that straight forward punch. A drill you could do with a partner is instead of your hands being in a fist, bring them up like this and do the same exact technique with your hands pointed up. This is called pak. When we do a pak, I will be on the straight line. He can also be on the straight line. He will do double punch. I'll do double pak. This will help strengthen that center line and help you with targeting. Again, this is a drill. This isn't something that you're going to use on the street. It's like push-ups are really good to help you with your punches, right? But you're not going to do push-ups in a fight. All of these techniques are just tools to help. We could switch. Perfect. Now what we'll do is we're going to apply our footwork with our handwork and start to try to generate some power from that shifted movement. It's important that the footwork gets in place first before you start doing your handwork. You could have the best handwork in the world and you won't be able to hit hard if your footwork's garbage. So make sure that before we start this step, you're feeling comfortable with your footwork, your hips are in, you're learning to shift. As you step, we're taking a step with the outside and we're dragging the back leg so that our weight's behind us and we're keeping that distance the same. So now, the drill that we'll work on, again, if you have a punching bag, use it. If not, you can create like a chair or something that you can move around. We're gonna step, shift, and as soon as the weight is on this back leg, drive your punch forward. And you can go to the opposite side. We'll just switch between the two. Go ahead and do very robotic movements at first. Shift, step, shift, punch off the back leg. Then when you start feeling comfortable, if you have a punching bag at home, go and add some power behind it. Something that is very common for people to do is to leave their hand out. For demonstration purposes, when I throw a punch, I'll hold the bag out. That's actually a bad habit to create. What we want to do is make sure that when we're throwing the punch, we're coming out and then bringing that hand back to our center, ready to block, ready to cover. Then you can go ahead and switch up between the two. Take a step, throw your punch, then work on your chain punches. Come back to center. This will help with your footwork, handwork, and the coordination between the two. Awesome. Can we pause for a sec? Okay, guys, so those were the fundamentals, very beginning introduction stuff, but I want to touch a little bit on what Wing Chun is and isn't. There's a lot of, for lack of a better word, bad Wing Chun out there. And what I want to explain is that Wing Chun isn't necessarily a art as it is more of an idea. It's a set of principles. When we talk about Wing Chun, it's the engagement of close quarter combat. And as long as you understand that combat is an exchange of punches and that it's not necessarily a chess game, the better. What Wing Chun also allows is for you to create action out of muscle memory. It's not a systematic art, if you will. It's not technique. Yeah, it's not, he's going to throw a punch. I'm going to come here. I'm going to come here. I'm going to come here. It's, hey, we practice these drills so much that when everything happens, it just comes out in reaction. So for an example, we're here squared up. First of all, anybody who steps up to you like this Wing Chun stance is great, but this isn't how fighters fight, okay? We still want to cover our lines, and it's great that we're covering our lines. Bring your hands in, okay? We're not leaving our limbs out for them to be attacked. So this is a very traditional thing to do for us. Just bring your hands in. We could still use our stance. This is a great stance. I'm still covering my center lines, right? We're not doing the asking hand. But, so we're here. Right now, this bridge is not closed, okay? We have not made contact yet. This is a sparring zone. This is, we don't know what's going on. I feel uncomfortable here. I want to be here where I can feel and see what's going on with pressure, okay? So as we close that gap and he comes forward, I want to trap and pin and find these center lines. Oftentimes, it doesn't work out that well. He throws a punch and maybe I have to move offline. I haven't trapped or pinned, but what I have created is a dedication in his body moving this direction. I can come forward, I can start attacking the legs, whatever I want to. The goal to this is that we're creating, again, a reaction and not just a, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. It's what you should be focusing on for the I should do this, I should do this, I should do this is body positioning, okay? So I don't want to be squared at all. I want to be making my opponent react to me, okay? So I'm moving, I'm constantly moving. If he has to react to me, I'm one step ahead of him, I'm winning, okay? Now, he does something, he comes in close, now I have to react to him. He threw that punch. My reaction was, oh, I need to keep the punch from coming in. I drove my lines straight forward, okay? We're not chasing hands. If he's throwing a punch out here, I shouldn't be throwing my hand clear out here trying to chase his hand. Why? Because he's trying to attack this. He's trying to attack my center, right? So what I should be doing is driving my hands out forward, covering my center, because that's what he's aiming for, right? So as he drives forward, I'm reacting. I want to create reaction. One step ahead, okay? So again, that reaction first starts with body placement. As I'm moving around, stepping around, again, leading with this leg in the direction I'm going. He drives forward, I can come to the side. Now he's crossed. What I've done is made it so that in order for this hand to be any more useful, he has to turn to me. So stepping to the outside makes it so that he has to cross himself. I've got this inside line here. We'll just do a couple of quick brief demonstrations just to show reaction. Most of the reaction in trapping and pinning comes from another drill or technique called Tonsil. Just here, we're trying to create muscle memory, again with pressure and sensitivity, okay? Cutting lines. When we separate ourselves from that drill, now we're here, the technique and principles are still the same, only we're adding reaction to them. So as he throws his punch, I'm driving that center line and I'm trapping it down. Now I've taken this, trapping and coming up and attacking, into an application. He throws his punch, I'm driving, I step to the outside because I want to create that reaction. I don't want to just stand square with him. He stands square, I'm not creating a reaction. Now I'm relying on my hands to try to stop his hands, okay? And the hands are always gonna be quicker than the eye. So I want to make contact. I'm stepping around, I'm trying to find the hand, I'm trying to drive the center. Once I do have contact, I'm feeling what his core is doing. As he drives the core, I know what he's going to do because I can feel it. I can feel the negativity and pressure. I can feel when he's rotating, when he's getting ready to attack, okay? I'm no longer seeing with the eyes, I'm seeing with the hands. This drill, these pressure and sensitivity drills, make it so that I can feel that. So that when I do end up getting in a fight, he throws his punch, I know what's happening. Right now, I feel that back leg pushing against my core. My hand automatically tries to reach for this hand because I can feel that there's a negative and pressure there. He drives it forward, I can trap it, I know exactly where it is. Okay, so again, this is more advanced stuff, but what we're trying to create is that sensitivity and pressure. If you have a partner, the best drill for that is actually just taking your palm like this. We'll cross the palm like that. We'll just move around, start feeling pressure, start stepping without breaking contact. If I release the pressure, he needs to follow it by moving forward, okay? Same principle in a fight. If I'm here, and I'm driving my punch, and all of a sudden there's a negativity and pressure, my hand should be coming forward. I shouldn't be reacting by going, oh, hey, it's gone, punch. No, I should be driving all the time and feel that pressure. That way when the pressure's gone, which it is there, I know that my hand's going forward. So again, really good drill. We'll cross, move around. The moment that there's a lack of pressure, his hand should be going forward. Looks like patty kick, right? Well, it's a really useful tool. It's a great way to also use your footwork. I'm attacking with my footwork. I'm not attacking with my weight. If you're leaning like this, yep, it's not good. What we want is for our weight to be behind us, and we're using the strength of our legs, not the weight of our body. So as I'm driving forward, as soon as he moved, I was able to control my footwork and shift back into my opponent. If I'm leaning on it, he moves, I'm dedicated to that weight. I'm having to go forward. So another couple drills that will be really helpful. This one's a little more advanced, but with a good partner, if you guys do this slow, it will really, really help. He's gonna come out into what's called a Lansau position. Lansau is a frame. It's a very strong frame. It's something that he can keep without having to use a whole bunch of strength, okay? For me, I'm gonna take and drive my punch. He's gonna bring his hand up and push it down. And I'm gonna rotate over, and now I'm in Lansau, and he's in this hand position. What this is creating is, again, a sensitivity and pressure. If my hand comes off as he's moving, I'm doing the drill wrong. I need to make contact all the way through. Even if the arm starts to ride up towards his wrist, like that, I'm still maintaining my pressure. We can bring it back down. This also helps in your clinch game. If I'm here, I'm clinched up on him and I feel this pressure. I don't have to necessarily see what's going on because I can feel it. I can drive my head, I can feel where the pressure's going, the twist around, try to get to the back. All of that works because I'm seeing with my pressure, with my sensitivity, not with my eyes. One last drill. This one is just a little bit more advanced. If you can pull it off, awesome, but we're gonna show it to you anyway. This is called Tonsil. What's gonna happen is he's gonna throw his punch. I'm gonna come out into a position called Bangsao. Bangsao is Lansao, forward, and then we're bringing the hand slightly forward. This is a spring. Bangsao is also a transitional position, okay? If you try stopping a punch with Bangsao, it's not gonna work out very well for you. Bangsao is used to redirect pressure. So as he throws the punch, I come around, it allows me to create an advantage. So punch comes out, Bangsao rotates over. Your opponent will put you in the Bangsao, meaning as he drives his hand forward, my elbow then comes up. I'm not just gonna come out with Bangsao to try to stop it. Again, for the drill, he's gonna throw his punch, I'm gonna rotate over into Bangsao. My hand should be coming out of the center. I should have like a rod coming out through the wrist, out through the fingers right here. So I'm driving here. He's going to relax. He's going to put his hand on top. This position, his elbow is still down, and I'm in what's called Tonsil, and he's in a position called Fuksao. This position is a gripping position. It makes it so that when I move, he can follow it, he can pull, he can push in that position, and then if he needs to, he could turn it back into a fist and drive forward if he wants. Okay, very efficient position for gripping, grabbing, grappling, whatever you want to do with it. My Tonsil also comes out on my center line. Tonsil, Bangsao, all of it, you need to pretend like there's a rod coming out of the middle of your chest and your hand positions on there, elbow pointed down. Tonsil is used to drive forward against a target, okay? When that punch comes in, if I shift, I'm coming out with Tonsil. Again, Tonsil is not going to be where I'm chasing hands. I'm coming out to the side here to try to stop a punch. Go ahead. This is not Tonsil. Tonsil, when he throws his punch and I drive forward, I'm still covering my center line right here, okay? Covering up. When I come to my center line and I drive forward, I'm creating power. So if he throws that punch, boom, I'm attacking that, okay? The other thing with Tonsil is if I can't get it out in time, it allows me to come up into a cover if I need to. Covering is a very efficient and useful tool, okay? Sometimes you just can't block. Sometimes you have to just cover up and allow your arms to get striked instead of your face. So back to our drill. He's in Fuksao, punch, Bangsao. I'm going to relax as soon as he relaxes. Now I'm in Tonsil and he's in Fuksao right here. He'll throw his punch. I'm back into Bangsao. Right here. Okay? He is leading this drill, meaning I'm following his pressure. When he throws his punch, I should feel the pressure on my wrist. It turns me over into Bangsao. The moment he relaxes, I relax back into Tonsil. Try this for just a few minutes. Then we will add the lower strike to Tonsil. Again, Bangsao is a transitional position. I shouldn't be staying here. If I'm staying here and it collapses down, or someone could put you in an S-bar, there's a lot of risk to this position if you hold it out. It needs to be a subtle and quick movement so you can snap around and find the trap. Or you can allow it to collapse and bring it in and bait, The other thing you could do with it is when it comes out, I can drive my elbow down and find that inside line pretty easy. Now, let's add the attack to it. From here, he'll throw his punch. I'm in Bang Sao. The moment he relaxes, from my Tan position, now it's my turn to attack. I'm going to bring my hand in so that I'm on my center line, and I'm going to snap it down into a palm strike towards the stomach. For him to defend, he's going to come down on his center line, right in front of the belly button, right here. Okay? And he's going to stop my attack by driving it not just down, but forward back into my core line. Okay? This core line right here. If I drive to attack, he's also driving forward and he's stopping that position. From here, he feels that negativity and pressure. He goes, oh, I got this upside line. I also feel it and I need to defend. So I bring it up into Bang Sao, Tan, and now we repeat. So these are great drills with a partner, one that you can do by yourself at home just to help with hand positioning. You'll come out in your Tonsil, elbow pointed down at the ground, and then from here, you will try to rotate your hand as if there's a circle right here you're not trying to touch. Okay, perfect circle. Bang Sao again should come out and then dive down just a little bit. This transitional position is really, really springy. It's good for moving over an opponent who's on top. Come over with an elbow, however you want to use it. Turn it back, Tonsil, Bang Sao, Tonsil, Bang Sao. Now again, guys, just like how we go to the gym to get better at moving, we can hit the bench, do push-ups to get better at our punches, make ourselves stronger. In a fight, I'm not going to drop down and do push-ups, right? But did those push-ups benefit my fighting skill? Of course they did. So use these tools as a way to benefit your already fighting skill. If you don't have one, that's fine. We could work up to that. You know, these stepping movements, they're all principles. And that is what Wing Chun is about, is those principles, okay? In a fight, I'm not gonna say, all right, buddy, let's go, right? It's not gonna happen. That's not at all. But is this beneficial? Of course it is. I'm allowing myself to feel these pressures. So then, when we do come here, he throws it in, I can outside, I'm feeling the pressure. There is a certain level of reaction that comes from having to use your eyes, and that just comes with experience. Get to a gym, go do some boxing, do kickboxing. Find a way where you can learn to react with your eyes and sharpen that sensitivity with your eyes. But when it comes to close quarter, inside combat, Wing Chun is a very superior art for that reason, for close quarter combat. When I'm here and I feel the pressure, now I can come in and I own all of this. We feel comfortable right here. When we create this space, this training is also very important because right now it's all a calculation. I have to calculate when he's going to throw that punch, where he's going to move. It's all a calculation. From here, I feel it. I feel what's going to happen, okay? I know because I've done it enough to where I feel what the body movement's going to do. If I'm here and I'm stepping, I go, okay, where's that punch coming? I have to bring my hand out and calculate when it's going to make contact with his hand, and then if I'm able to even go in, right? So another really good drill that we use at home, guys, make sure you're wearing safety glasses, but take a tennis ball, okay? Try to get up a hard wall. Don't throw holes in your wall at home, but maybe a brick wall somewhere. Take a tennis ball, step back about 5 feet, throw it at the wall, and then start moving around it, okay? Create that reaction. And then when you're ready, throw the ball and start trying to block it. Throw it, block it, okay? That reaction is really important. Once you have that reaction, and then you can start training on the inside, he throws his punches, now I can feel where I'm going and I don't have to rely on that reaction anymore.